Hey everybody, soybean farmer. Today's September the 12th. I'm sitting down here on the ground by the combine, and I have just finished draining the fuel tank. It's way up there. It was aggravating, but it was about 12 gallons of fuel in this thing, and so I'd get about 4 gallons at the time and carry it down there and dump it in the tank. And there's several reasons behind this. There's 2 pulleys that I knew about that are behind this tank that are in pretty sad shape. And while I'm sitting here, checking on this, watching it drain, I touched that pulley right there. And it's worse off than the 2 that I've already bought to replace that are behind the tank. The other reason I'm draining the tank is I want to take it off and try to wash this thing out. It's got a bunch of sediment and nastiness inside of it. Shut me down 3 times last year. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But now I'm up to the part where I've got to take this thing off. And I sure hope it comes off without breaking. Now I'll show you what I'm talking about with this reason this tank's got to get cleaned out. And of course, take the thing off, get it cleaned out, and I can replace all these pulleys behind it, get them back in good shape. Let's go up to the engine compartment and I'll show you what shut me down. All right, up here at the engine compartment, you can see I got battery charger on here, trying to get the battery back up. But the piece on the injector pump is right there. That piece right there. There's a little glass ball in there on a spring, and that trash was actually getting past this filter, getting in that check valve and causing it to malfunction. And when it got stuck in the open position, all the fuel would go back to the tank and it would start starving the injectors for fuel, and it shut you down. Got that on video once last year. Real aggravating. And a couple of people told me, said, it's trash in your tank causing you the problem. So try to get that fixed. And then of course we get the fun of coming back here. And I've already complained about this before, but there is the fuel filter right there. That thing there. And I've learned over the years it's just a whole lot easier to disconnect the lines, undo these 2 bolts here, and take that whole thing out of there and carry it to the tailgate of the truck or the workbench and disassemble it and replace the filter. So we get to do that too. But we're getting ready to think about that bean crop out there. That has been gorgeous this year. Had plenty of water, got dry twice, not dry enough to really hurt the crop, but I'm excited about getting this combine out there and seeing how many beans I can get out of that field into this combine and then into that truck right there. Last year, that was a disaster. Real heartbreak. Something was bad wrong with that variety of beans. And every farmer around here that bought that variety had the same problem. The stems would not dry down. They stayed green and flexible. And by the time the stems actually started to dry down enough that you could risk trying to get them to go through your combine, the pods were opening up and just dropping the beans on the ground. Disaster. Hopefully this year will be better and we'll get more beans to the mill instead of just watching them fall out and hit the ground. Well, that's the next step in this is go down there and start seeing how many of them bolt heads are rounded off and how many of them can actually hold a wrench or a socket. Let's see what happens next.